Okay, so we're going to get started tonight for, this is our special called joint meeting with Asheboro City and the Randolph County Board of Commissioners. And for all of you that are participating, we've been meeting in this fashion several times in the last couple of years and for various reasons. And I think it's good that we can work together for the betterment of our city and our county together. We serve the same people, and I think that's very important. So, and I also want to say we are streaming live right now on Facebook and YouTube. Doug Moore's back there. He's been with us through these videos, both our county commissioners meetings, our hospital meetings that we've had, public hearings, and worked real well. And I just wanted to give him a little acknowledgement tonight for, and Michael, as they make these types of meetings possible. I thought Zoom is what my daddy accused me of doing in the car, but I've learned it's got a different meaning, and I'm sure you have too. So with that, I'm going to recognize Mayor Smith. David, thank you for your counsel.
Thank you, Chairman Fry. It's my pleasure to have y'all here tonight in the Public Works Conference Room in the city of Asheboro. And I will call this meeting to order on behalf of the City Council.
Thank you, Mayor, and I will call the meeting to order on behalf of the Randolph County Board of Commissioners. I will say a little further, we are considering 2 economic development incentive packages tonight. And just so you folks here and the folks at home will know how we're doing this. In the first one, the mayor will convene the public hearing and he will close the public hearing. And then on the second project, I will do that to open and close the public hearing. So that's sort of the process that we'll follow tonight. Of course, our friends Kevin and Crystal from Economic Development, they will do the presenting on each case. So with that, we are in order. Again, thank all of you for being here. And Kevin, I'll turn it over to you.
I will call this meeting, open the public hearing on item 3A, Project Avocado.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Mr. Mayor and members of council and Board of Commissioners. Privileged to be here this evening, and it's always exciting to come before you with the project. I'm here this evening to talk about Project Avocado, which is the code name that we've been using to date. This is an expansion project under consideration by StarPet Inc. here in Asheboro. And StarPet is a wholly owned subsidiary of Thailand-based Indorama Ventures, which is a global petrochemical producer with a presence in 33 different countries. Locally, the company is located at 801 Pineview Road here in Asheboro. StarPet was acquired in 2003 by Indorama. It was actually the first overseas plant acquired by Indorama Ventures. StarPet manufactures PET polymers. It's polyethylene terephthalate, in case anyone was wondering about that. It's used in the production of PET bottles, sheets, and other applications. So the water bottles that we use, for example, are manufactured from PET. According to the company's website, the plant's annual production capacity when it was acquired back in 2003 was about 50,000 tons. Capacity has since increased more than 5-fold, exceeding 260,000 tons per year now. And this growth is really an evidence of successful operations and good management of the Asheboro facility. The expansion project under consideration is related to an internal commitment by Indorama Ventures to increase the company's production of recycled PET. The company proposes to invest a total of $17.4 million in the project, including $5.2 million in real property and $12.2 million in machinery and equipment. The real property investment will include renovations to the existing building, including upfits to the existing production area to accommodate the new equipment. There will be office upgrades and new lab space built, as well as an expansion for new warehouse space for this material. Should StarPet opt to pursue the expansion in Asheboro, the company will retain its current full-time workforce of 103 employees and will commit to creation of 11 new full-time positions. And these new jobs will have an average annual wage of $50,909, adding approximately $560,000 annually to the company's payroll. And I will note that the current Randolph County private sector average wage is $36,622 right now. So these wages are substantially higher than our current average wage. And these are the types of jobs that we love to see coming to the community. This recycling project is competitive with 2 other company facilities in another state. And so this incentive request before you this evening is a necessary consideration for StarPet to proceed with the expansion project locally. The EDC is recommending consideration of an incentive package of up to $455,000 over 5 years. And this is inclusive of a $5,000 match commitment for a North Carolina Commerce Building Reuse Grant, for which they are eligible in the amount of $100,000. The Building Reuse Grant would assist with the renovation and expansion costs. And since the company is located within the corporate limits of the city of Asheboro, the city then would consider approving this authorization for application. As I have stated, this is a little bit different type of project, but as I have stated, the project is heavily focused on recycling. And the equipment and facility, and any equipment and facilities that are dedicated solely to recycling are exempt from local property taxes in North Carolina. The total payment made to or on behalf of the company shall be determined based upon the value of the equipment and facilities that are subject to local property tax. And the EDC recommends that payments made to the company be an amount that is equal to 50% of the anticipated tax revenue generated by the project over a 5-year period. And that would be determined, that actual amount of taxable investment would be determined by an audit performed by the North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality. And that audit would be conducted after construction is completed and the equipment is in service. So based on the company's investment of $17.4 million, the total incentive amount would not exceed $455,000, including the $5,000 match for the building reuse grant. And as we've stated, we anticipate the actual incentive amount to be significantly less than that, but not to be determined until that DEQ audit is conducted. The EDC does believe that the StarPet expansion is a great economic development project for the city of Asheboro and Randolph County, introducing a sustainable and environmentally friendly process of production. It increases the value of the building and results in the creation of 11 new high-quality jobs in the community. Therefore, we request that the city and county approve a 5-year incentive agreement for the company in an amount not to exceed $455,000, with payments to be split evenly between the city and the county. I would also like to acknowledge that Parker Poe has been working on behalf of the company on this process, and we are represented here by Mallory Sparks with Parker Poe on behalf of the company. I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone may have about the project.
Do you have anything that you want to say tonight?
No, thank you. I'm just.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Kevin, who is the city of Asheboro the applicant, actual applicant for the building reuse?
That's correct.
The grant match is paid up at the time of the filing.
The grant match is paid, it has to be the first dollars in as a part of the grant, but it doesn't get paid in until the company verifies that they've already begun to expend funds for the renovation project.
So the 450 balance, or 225 each, that's sort of a cap, a not to exceed number.
That's correct. That is a not to exceed number. Yes. And normally we would give kind of a hard and fast number, but in this instance, because it is a recycling project, we're not able to do that up front because the audit comes after completion of the project.
Do you have any feel for how much that's going to be? I mean, in all.
I don't. I expect that the vast majority, if not all of the equipment and machinery will be exempt from taxation since it's specifically for this production. And I do expect that a sizable portion of the renovation project and expansion will be also exempt. But that's really as far as I'm willing to guess.
Does our tax department make that determination?
The
audit?
North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality will conduct that audit. So that will be the state determining what is and is
What
not eligible.
qualifies.
That's correct.
Then they'll notify the company and the tax department,
That's correct.
because the tax department collects for Asheboro to pay road.
That's right. And then once we have that number, then that will determine what the actual incentive payments will be, 50% of anticipated revenue over a 5-year period.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
I don't see any unfamiliar faces in the room. Is there anyone in the room that would like to address the body tonight regarding this request? Hearing none, we will move to the deliberative phase of the hearing, and I'll turn it over to Chairman Fry for your action.
All right, does any commissioner have any other questions on the project before we ask for a motion?
Mr. Chairman, to clarify, there's how many, again, people? There's how many employees?
There are 103 employees currently, and they're committing to 11 new positions affiliated with this project.
Thank you.
And the building reuse grant is based partly on that number of employees.
So the percentage, 11 doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a 10% increase in their employee base. That's correct. You put in that percentage, that's a big number.
And it's what, 11, yeah, another $560,000 in an annual local payroll too. Right, yep. Other questions?
I guess this is maybe more of a question with, David in the city, but, and this is just informational and doesn't really have a whole lot of bearing on, but, so, with all the project change and the whole, I guess some new equipment and some expansion and employees, is there any land use change, or is it all on the same footprint, it's just inside equipment? I just wondered with all the rail spurs and everything.
That's a pretty tight site
Yeah.
there. The city and the county do see some additional revenue because they're one of the largest users of freight cars in
Rail,
this whole
Corridor here, yeah.
Asheboro line.
So,
Yep.
I just wondered, thank you.
Other questions? Good questions. What's the pleasure of our board?
Mr. Chairman, I will move that we adopt resolution authorizing the county to enter this economic incentive contract start date as Kevin described.
I'd second that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Second by Commissioner Kidd. Further discussion? Any questions? Those in favor will say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. And Mr. Mayor, it is approved unanimously by county commissioners.
Thank you, sir. Council, what's your preference here? Do I have a motion?
Mayor, I move that we adopt a resolution authorizing the city to enter into an economic incentives contract.
Thank you, Mr. Bell. I have a motion by Mr. Bell. May I have a second? Second, Mr. Moffitt. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries unanimously for the city. And I will close this public action and turn it over to Chairman Fry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I will call to order open the public hearing for the second project, and I will introduce Crystal Geddes, who is our Business Recruitment Director for Randolph County EDC.
Thank you, Commissioner Fry and Councilman and Mayor Smith and City Council. I appreciate your meeting with us tonight. And to follow Kevin on an existing industry project, I would like to follow up with a new project that is potential for Randolph County and the city of Asheboro. based on the summary that we provided earlier, the project name is Systems, and the company is Sadia Systems LLC. The investment overall, total investment for this company is over $3 million. Of that includes over $2.2 million in real property and over $832,000 in personal property. This is over a 5-year period, and they would create 14 new jobs over that 5-year period. Their average wages are $90,714, which is well above our county average wage. The incentive proposal for the local incentives, they do qualify as a new company for local incentives in the amount of $36,532, divided evenly between Randolph County and the city of Asheboro. I would like to make note, a correction on your sheet, a little additional error there. It states $18,266 per jurisdiction. That yours says $18,311, and it should be $18,266 if you divide that in half. So please make that note. To tell you a little bit about the company, Sadia Systems Incorporated is a global fixed lecture room, auditorium, and multi-purpose seating company who is considering a consolidation of their 2 North Carolina facilities and relocation of their Chicago headquarters and showroom to Asheboro. The project is in competition with 2 other states at the time, and they are in the process of doing their due diligence in those other 2 states. This is potential for us, but again, we are still in competition, and this hearing is just part of the process in finding out where we stand with the incentives as they complete their due diligence on all sites, and hopefully their decision will be coming shortly after. The purpose of the project would be to retrofit an existing 60,000 square foot building located at 335 Commerce Place and 401 Commerce Place to accommodate the consolidation of their 2 facilities in High Point. One of those facilities is actually in Randolph County and the other is in Guilford County, as well as their headquarters and showroom that is now in Chicago. The project will again create 14 new jobs over a 5-year period with the average wages of over $90,000. The current private sector average wage in the county is $36,622. The incentive proposal of the $36,532 is based on the projected investment of the building renovations, plus the real property, and the building renovations is anticipated at $750,000 and personal property investment of over $832,000. This reflects a 50% property tax incentive over a 5-year period, which is our typical local incentive offer and time period for an agreement. This would be shared equally between Randolph County and the city of Asheboro, again in the amount of $18,266 for each. The project is eligible for a building reuse grant through the North Carolina Department of Rural Infrastructure Authority. For the building reuse grant, it is a 2-year program, and for them, they are required to create 9 jobs within those 2 years. The maximum building reuse grant consideration would be $100,000 with a 5% match of $5,000 from the local government, and again, to be divided between Randolph County and the city of Asheboro. The EDC recommends any match requirements for the state grant be included in the overall local incentive offer of the $36,532. The EDC is seeking consensus from Randolph County and the city of Asheboro for the total incentive offer, including any required grant matching dollars, with the clear understanding that the final incentive amount will be calculated, will be the calculation of 50% of the projected tax revenue over 5 years based on the state's determination of taxable property following the completed build out and renovations of the project. I am happy to answer any questions you may have concerning this project.
Crystal, just so we're clear, explain why if one's got 14 jobs and one has 9, it has to do with just qualifying for the.
That's right. again, the 9 jobs comes into play for the building reuse grant, and it's a 2-year program, and that's the number of jobs they plan to create during that first 2 years of the project, and that's what the state holds them accountable to. So that's why there's 2 different figures there. But for the local grant, the 5-year period, time frame for the agreement, they are committed to employing at least 14 or creating 14 new jobs.
So what's the expertise that brings that average wage to $90,000?
Well, these are high-end, some of them are engineered higher-end employment positions that they have, accounting positions, a lot of engineering positions, controller. Most of their assembly or manufacturing jobs are contracted jobs, and they're very seasonal. So these are their main administrative and overall company jobs that they'll be creating.
But there will be some manufacturing in the facility here in,
Yes, they will. There will be, and those jobs will be on a contracted basis.
okay, all right. And so this is on the corner, which I'm familiar with, just for clarification for everybody. It's on kind of on the corner of Bank Street and Commerce as you go up Commerce there. Once you cross over Bank Street, over there to the left.
Yeah, it is on, right off of Commerce Drive, right after you turn off Banks. And it is currently owned by Malta Mill. That's been vacant. The building's been vacant for at least a year and a half. So we're excited that the building will be put back into use and create some jobs as well, and good paying jobs.
I would say, Crystal and I drove down to Sanford a couple weeks ago to meet with our EDC folks, and she had the conversation with this gentleman for half of our ride down there, so I got to listen into all that. And it sounds like he likes us, he likes our project, he likes our location. I don't know if you have a different sense of that. I know we've got 2 other states here, Indiana and Michigan, but
He does. He's very familiar with North Carolina. As I stated before, he has 2 facilities in High Point, one in Randolph County, one in Guilford County. So he's very familiar with this area, and much of his supply chain comes from this in the state. But this is really a global company that manufactures in various places and installs all over the world. So, but there are other opportunities for them that makes good business sense as well, and which is why they are entertaining 2 other states.
questions, city or county?
Just to follow up from Chairman Fry, and this is kind of out of, but, and just talking about the project and everything, and your and Kevin's work on this. I know both of these boards have kind of gotten together with EDC, and y'all are doing a great job recruiting people, and I know we had talked about in some of those meetings, really putting our best foot forward and taking a big swing of the bat to try, to land these kind of things. Does this give you the tools you need to put our best foot forward? I mean, I'm sure it does, but.
Well, this certainly helps them and lets them know that we want to be a partner with them and that we're going to assist them not only in being the applicant for the building reuse grant that they qualify with the state, but also local incentives that will help them with their building reuse. And so I think it's a good message that we send to them in support.
Yeah, and I think it is good that we are incentivizing a local business. I mean, he has a facility already here, but we want him to stay here.
That's right.
Good comments. Other questions? All right.
Thank you.
What's the pleasure of the board? Oh, yes. I will. Any other speakers on behalf of this project? Hearing none, then I will close the public hearing, and we will come back to the, let's see, Mayor, you are first.
Council, do you have any further questions? I'll entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
Mayor, I move we adopt a resolution by reference authorizing the city to the economic development incentive contract with city assistance.
Thank you, Mr. Bell. I have a motion by Councilman Bell to approve by reference. May I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Burks is the second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Fry.
Thank you, Mayor Smith. Okay, County Commissioners, any other questions or concerns, or I'll entertain a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd love to make a motion to adopt a resolution authorizing the County of Randolph to enter into economic incentive contract with Cydia. Am I pronouncing that right? Systems Incorporated.
Thank you. And second by Commissioner Haywood. Further discussion or questions? Those in favor will say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. And it is approved. So, Mayor, I will say again, thank all of you for participating in this process. It's falling on deaf ears, I know, but I do want to comment. We're going through two projects that do two things. They're showing that we have a local business that is doing well and is growing and adding jobs. And we have another business that's expanding, good for economic development, and we get no coverage on it. Pretty much nobody's gonna know this meeting ever took place tonight, and that concerns me a lot. And we've all had some discussions among ourselves about some of our local news. I did a 45-minute interview 2 months ago that's never been one word printed on it about the county and issues in the county. But I don't know what we can do about it, but I do think that but I just want to make that comment. Any other business on the part of the county commissioners?
Can I follow up on what you said? I'm equally as frustrated. We've all talked about that with, coverage or whatever, and both of our boards are trying to do what we can to promote Asheboro and Randolph County. But, I think it's appropriate to applaud Kevin and Crystal and the work they're doing to let North Carolina and the United States and the globe know that Randolph County and Asheboro is open for business. So thank you for bringing these, and I appreciate you being here and your hard work.
Well, they good things, and it's some of the best news that we've had, and very, very beneficial. Good paying jobs, benefits. That's great, especially in the times that we're in. That these growth, these kinds of investments is taking place. So it's been. And Crystal's been with us about a year now, and Kevin's about a year in his new capacity, and continue to work. And I can just tell you, and David just served on the EDC board also, but it's hard to, competition's tough. And I think this Ms. Kenny is saying kudos to you and your efforts, and I got to listen in on the conversation, and Crystal's professionalism in dealing with the individual, and his, to me, his interest in Randolph County and the city of Asheboro for their future. So, thank you. Hearing no other business, do I have a motion to adjourn? Thank you. County Commissioners are adjourned.
Let me add one comment briefly to what we were just talking about. Kevin and Crystal and Lisa down there are doing a great job. We know that. They are working very hard with their board, and subsequently the municipalities in the county that they represent, to increase the tools they have to be more attractive. We're trying to find possible spec buildings and more sites for the inventory. So we have a lot of work to do in that area to step up and be as competitive as possible. So I know that is a big thing that they're working on with their board. So as we move forward, we all need to make sure that we do what we can to help them put those assets in place. Anything else from the city? I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Mr. Burke, second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. City's adjourned.
Motion to adjourn doesn't require a second.
Exactly.